Hey, folks, it's Dave here on a Saturday night, and want to talk about something that I've been doing a lot of lately, and I want to just get your opinion on that. Just want to make sure that we sound good here. All right, it sounds all right. Again, my mixer sometimes has a flub up, and I got to make sure that I don't have the robot sound. Anyway, what I found myself doing is Frankensteining my games. And I wonder if you guys do that. That's not really a word, but do you ever have a game that you play, game X, but you borrow something from game Y and maybe game Z and put it into game X? So you're kind of the mad scientist, right? You're kind of Frankenstein in parts from all different games and bringing them in. Now, the other night I did that when I was playing the golf game. I had courses and clubs out, but I grabbed the APA golf, right? The sheets from APA golf, and I put them on the table just for a visualization. And I guess that would be Frankensteining the game, right? Is and it can be confusing because people can be looking at that saying, "Oh, Dave's playing APA golf." Well, I wasn't, but I was using the APA golf backdrop for the visualization. And I've done more things like that as Barbara comes by. Good to see you, Barbara. Um, for example, let's just say you're playing a quick play hockey game, okay? And it just gets you the final score. You could go into red ice hockey or ultra quick hockey, and you could get all the players and put together a box score. So and I've done that before. Before red ice hockey had come out, I would play final score from Downey, and I would use ultra quick from Downey to get my stats because I at the time I liked final score a little bit better than ultra quick hockey because they had um, the the uh, the end of the game scramble. I don't know what you want to call it there, but it was if a team was up by a goal, it had some excitement at the end that the ultra quick hockey didn't have. But the ultra quick hockey had the goals and assists for each team. And so I would play the games in final score and then steal from ultra quick hockey to get my goals and assists. And I suppose you can do that with red ice too, or stone cold hockey. But now what I'm doing is I'm playing my APA football, and I don't like to call plays, but in APA football, you have to, and it kind of works. But I still rather would just like the plays called and kind of watch it play out. And so, like season ticket football does that. Solitaire pro football does that. Second season does that. Just about every other game aside from APA football does that. And so what I started doing is because I had all the seasons, is I pulled out my Solitaire Pro football team charts, right? And what I was doing is I would roll to see what the play call was, if it's a run or a pass, and to see who was going to get that run or pass, and also to see who returns kicks. And I found that when I did that in my APA football, my gaming experience was so much better because I could actually just roll the dice, pass or run, who's going to get it, and then I finished the play in APA. But so instead of me sitting there, what do I want to do? Okay, this guy's got 3 runs and this guy's got, so I'm going to go to this guy. And while that's fun, I like when I roll the dice or flip a card and it tells me what's going on in the play because I build my narrative around that. And I don't know if you guys do that. So the other night I was playing, I think I was playing Solitaire Pro Football. And I wasn't Frankensteining that. I was just kind of playing that straight out. I was doing the Buccaneers and the Raiders 76 to seeing how bad the Raiders would smash the Buccaneers, right? And so I would have like a 3rd and 13, and when I rolled the dice, it rolled so low that Tampa's going with a run. And I'm thinking you'd probably want to pass on 3rd and 13, but maybe they called the draw. Or maybe they just whatever it was. So I was able to build a narrative around the third and long with the run play. And again, I was just playing myself, but I got Kurt Gowdy in my head, right, calling this play. And now the Buccaneers trying to get to the Raiders, on 3rd and 13, or whatever Kurt Gowdy sounds like. And it was so fun that I was building a narrative in my head with that run play. So I do like to let the game decide a lot of the times. And with Apple, I couldn't do that until I started bringing in the Solitaire Pro team sheets to make that happen. As Philip comes by, good to see you, Philip. And then it started to work really well. And some of the other things I do is, I have Apple Hockey and Hockey Bones, and they're just a little different. They're almost identical, but this is some differences between the two. And I remember playing Hockey Bones, and I brought some of the Apple Hockey stuff into Hockey Bones, but I didn't want to break the game. I didn't want to have some things happen that weren't supposed to happen in Hockey Bones, and then get some results that shouldn't have happened. Again, your table, your rules. I get that. And then with Apple, I brought some of the Hockey Bones stuff in because they each do some things a little bit better in certain areas. And so I was Frankensteining those for a while. I was kind of borrowing some ideas from Bones in the App and from App in the Bones. I was almost trying to create a super hockey game, if you will. And some of it worked and some of it didn't. So that's just what I wanted to talk about tonight. Do you guys Frankenstein a game? Do you ever bring some rules in for another game into your game? For example, baseball is a good one. Every baseball game handles fatigue differently from what I see. But there's always some games that you just like how they handle the fatigue a little better than someone else. And so, when it comes to pitcher fatigue and when to take a pitcher out and go to the bullpen, I do that. That's completely, that's just completely by feel for me. If I get Nolan Ryan in there, I'm leaving him in, even if he's getting rocked, And there was a game of season ticket baseball where I had a pitcher, and I was trying to get him the complete game, and the pitcher was like a fatigue 6, which meant that anytime you rolled a 6 and you were doing a ballpark check, you added 60, and that was always going to be a hit. So you were hoping you didn't get that 6 to come up. But sometimes, I just go with feel on that, and there's some games that it's like, okay, the pitcher reaches the inning that he's supposed to pitch, right? And so let's just say, okay, you reach the 7th inning, and Game X says the pitcher's tired, so now you got to downgrade him. But maybe he's pitching a gem. Maybe he's only given up 3 hits or a couple of runs, and according to the rules, he's fatigued. But you're thinking to yourself, man, he had a rough start, but he's been mowing him down for 4 innings now or 5 innings now. I don't think he's fatigued. And so you kind of maybe use the fatigue from a game that you do like that says, okay, if I allow this many runs, he's fatigued. Or maybe if this many batters, he's fatigued. And so I've done that myself is I kind of have my own way of doing it. I really don't take any particular game and use my fatigue. I just kind of go with my gut feeling. But I do a lot of that because, again, we're all in search of the perfect game, and there's no perfect game. And so what we like to do is, take our favorite parts of a game and put it. Now, there's some of you guys that just play one game and that's it, and there's no Frankensteining at all. I get it. But for those of you that bounce around from different games, do you ever do that? Do you ever, like this about this game? So, I'm going to use that, or maybe I'm going to use the stealing chart from this game, or maybe I'm going to do something and bring it into this game here. And Thomas comes by and says, I mix hockey games all the time. Thomas, what do you do? Which games do you mix, and what are some of the things that you do? For example, like the Apple Hockey, I don't like how the penalties are done, but with Hockey Bones, I do. And so I'm always trying to figure out a way, how can I make the Apple Hockey penalties work better, more like Hockey Bones, is what I like to say. And then the rebounds in APA I like better than the Hockey Bones rebounds. But if I add too many rebounds to Hockey Bones, it's going to skew the stats, and I don't want that either. So, but now with football, when I posted that I was using my Solitaire Pro to call plays, right? In APA football, and some other people said, no, it says, well, that's a good idea. That might speed things up. Maybe I'll try it. And some other people added, well, I use season ticket, or I use the 49 on the turf football for my play calling, which is probably a good idea because I think they go inside outside run with the 49 football, and I haven't played that in a while, and I need to pull that back out. But I might go and dig out that. And the other thing with the 49 football is they get a little bit more in depth than the Solitaire Pro, and I think even the season ticket, second season, is whereas they fine tune it down to what the team's preference is. They run preference or they pass preference. You know what I mean? So they tend to do that with the 49 on the turf football. And you can really dial it in. So you roll your dice, you look at the down, and each team's got a card that you have to read off of. And it's a little bit more fine-tuned for the team, I think, than Solitaire Pro in second season. I think it's a little bit more fine-tuned. That's just my opinion. But so some people are saying they do that, and it does. It makes the game faster when you can kind of get your play. When you roll your dice, you flip your card, or whatever it is, the game decides, okay, I'm going to go inside run. It's going to be this guy. You're done, and you don't have that decision time. And, I'm so neurotic with stats. I will actually go and click on the guy and see how many carries he got in that game and try to say, okay, well, he's already got 4, so I don't want to give him too many, So I do like to let the game just play it out. And if you use the locator finders, the finders or the locators, whatever they're called, a lot of these games say that you don't have to worry about the distribution of the runs and the passes if you use the locator, because naturally the better guy is going to get the ball more. And that's what I really enjoy about that, using the finders and the locators. But I did try that with APA football, and I thought it worked pretty darn good. The only issue was when I'm playing the game and I have all the cards on the table with who played in the game, if the team card pops up on the locator or the finder and it says so-and-so is supposed to get the ball or the pass and they didn't play in the game, then you have an issue, because now it's like, well, what do I do now, because this guy didn't play, so he shouldn't get a run. So what I do with that is I move it up to the next guy that is in the game, and because he's going to get more carries and more passes than the guys below him. So that's kind of my workaround with that. And Thomas comes back and he says, I use the odd plays in Hockey Blast in Hockey Bones. Anytime there's a number play in Hockey Bones, if I roll a 6, I defer the Hockey Blast odd plays. Oh, that's kind of interesting, because that number symbol, that's actually, I think that's a neutral zone face-off, if I'm not mistaken, right? So on a neutral zone face-off, you want to see if anything odd happened. That's a pretty neat idea. And that's the other thing, too, Tom, that's a great point, is there's a lot of games that don't have rare plays, right? They don't have rare plays. And I find myself and other people borrowing rare plays into the games that don't. Or, for example, APA football's got the rare plays, but the complaint was sometimes you get too many rare plays and they start to repeat. So a rare play is supposed to be rare, right? And it's supposed to add some flavor to the game, but if they're constantly coming up, then it's too much. So somebody had a chart there, and I don't know if it was on the OGuard site or where it was, but he said, so here's my workaround for too many rare plays in APA football. It was the first rare play in the half that stays. That'll be the rare play. If you get a second one for the same team, then you roll a die, and I think it was 1 and 2, the offense calls a timeout. A 3, the defense calls a timeout. 4 and 5, you stay with a rare play, and 6, you actually use the second season rare play chart. and you obviously have to work around whatever happened on that. Um, but I think that's kind of neat, you know. Um, I, I so I actually I kind of use that kind of loosely. So if I get too many rare plays in Apple football, I roll and I go by that chart. And it's kind of neat because it's like I like the idea that the offense might have to burn a timeout or the defense might have to burn a timeout, or you stick with a rare play, or you go to a completely different game and use their rare play. I still really like the season ticket baseball rare plays in baseball. And I know Payoff Pitch has them; they're pretty good. Appa has some in the Master Game that are okay. But the season ticket ones, I've had the most fun with season ticket baseball rare plays. I really do. And sometimes I find myself wanting to bring that into other games as a Frankenstein as well, you know. Oh, you like their hat? Some roads? Yeah, I can put on my Brewers hat. My Brewers. That's how we say it over here, Brewers. So Tony B says, since Solitaire Pro Football doesn't designate inside or outside run, how do you handle it? I don't. And that's the great thing about Solitaire Pro Football is it is so generic and vague that it's all in your head what happens on the play. And if you've played that at all, you do find that you get all kinds of different runs and distances. Sometimes, you get a loss. Sometimes, get a loss of like 8. And so on that play, whoever got the ball, whether inside or outside, they hit the line, didn't work, and they tried to reverse around, and they got tackled for a loss. And you visualize that, and that's all, theater of the mind things happening there. So how do I use it for APA? How do I use it for APA? Well, what I tend to do is, depending on the runner, so if it's a fullback, I go inside 90% of the time. And if it's a running back, a halfback, I go outside, because the halfbacks you're supposed to send outside and the fullbacks you go inside, and that's when they're going to get their best result with APA. So if I'm playing, whoever it was, I'm trying to think of somebody here, so I was just playing the Raiders, and let's just say Van Egan was the halfback, and that's what was the call, then I go outside with Van Egan. After maybe 9 or 10 carries, maybe I try inside to mix it up. If it was Clarence Davis and he was the fullback, and I'm just kind of throwing out things here, then every time he gets it, he's going inside, except on the rare occasion I'll throw him to the outside. So that's how I do it with Apple football, is that my halfbacks tend to go outside and my fullbacks tend to go inside, 80 or 90% of the time is what I like to do with that. So that's kind of how I handle that. Because, like I said, with Solitaire Pro Football, there's no inside and outside, and you don't miss it. It's some reason that bakes it in so beautiful that every play you just put a narrative to, and it's kind of fun. But with the APA, you do need to call inside or outside, and that's what I do. Halfbacks go outside, fullbacks go inside, and it's usually outside for everything for the most part is what I do, except for the fullbacks. He says I wasn't sure if you let a die roll determine inside or outside. Maybe halfback outside 1 to 5 and 6 inside. That might work too. I tend to go on feel with that, but that would work too. Or do you roll the dice and say where you want to go? Because usually the halfbacks are going out on the outside, and the fullbacks just they dive up the middle. Usually, is from what the game tells you to do. And Vancouver chiming in. Is Vancouver in the NHL playoffs this year? I don't remember. I haven't really looked at the playoffs too much. I think they started today. I think Boston's going to Buffalo. The last time they played Buffalo that I can remember in the playoffs was the May Day when they got swept. Was it May scored in overtime? I was like, oh, man. Oh, Andrew, yes, the con is getting closer. And I'm excited even more excited now, because of the games that I can now show off. So not only is Matt McKeever bringing his golf game, right? It's Pocket Pro Tour Golf, I think it's called. Right, I'm trying to get that all straight. So he did the Pocket Pennant Run. Now he's doing the Pocket Pro Tour Golf. And so he's bringing that. He's going to show that off. He might have some for sale. I told him, I said, you got to have some for sale because people are going to want to buy that. And already people in the chat room are saying how they wanted to buy this game, right? But I'm going to bring courses and clubs, and I'm going to show that off for Ken. And incidentally, we're going to be giving away a PDF copy, of course, is the club's one for the Patreon supporters and one for the YouTube supporters. So I'll be announcing that shortly, and we'll have a raffle for that. And I think he's even going to give us one to give away at the event too. So Ken's been really good with that stuff there. So I'll be showing that off. I'm probably going to bring my app of golf, and I'm kind of hoping somebody there can sit me down and work with me on that a little bit and kind of help me refocus with that, because I had a hard time with that. And it just was me overthinking everything, but I did have a hard time with the app of golf. So I'm kind of hoping somebody there. I am going to bring, obviously, my app of football, probably app of hockey, and I want to bring the app of master baseball, and I'm kind of hoping there'll be somebody there that will sit with me and kind of give me the Cliff Note version on app of master baseball. Is kind of what I'm hoping. So I got all that. I am bringing at least 4 non-sports games, and I brought a lot of them last year that we played. The blank slate, which was fun. The fuse with the bomb game, that was super super fun. I'm bringing the Dice Conquest again. I only played that once, and I was so tired I forgot how to play it. So I'm gonna bring that. I'm gonna bring Pocket Landship, which is another fun dice rolling game, and I even got the mat for that. The mat for that's awesome. So I have a whole bunch of games like that. Oh, of course, I'm going to bring the racing game, the 1940s racing game with the little lollipop spinner. That was a fun one to play. So I have a lot of different games I'm bringing along with a lot of regular games. I'm really looking forward to the Big Red Machine. Mike sit me down, show me some strat games. I really want to get back into that, and I really want to grill them. I'm gonna put them on the grill and flip them over. I don't want to burn them, but I want to flip them on the grill and find out what we got to do to get some strat seasons in stock. I would love to play that basketball. I would love to play more baseball. I'd love to play football, but they just don't have anything in stock. So I need to get on them about that and say people are asking. People are asking, right? So let's see, back in the chat room here. VL's rooting for the Flyers. Yes, the Flyers did make the playoffs. Yes, they finally did. Yeah, I should bring the Hair League. Yeah, I should do that. Again, that's only a few teams. I'll drop that in there. And Andrew says Fuse was fun. Yeah, Fuse is fun. As long as you have the iPad with the app, and then it counts down, and you get that English lady, and she's like, 10 minutes to total destruction, and then it starts to ramp up, and you start like getting nervous. I found out we were playing it wrong, and it was Clay that pointed that out. So we'll get it right this time. I was going on memory last year. I was like, this is kind of how you play it. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Keith comes by. Good to see you, Keith. There's another guy that plays solitaire pro football. I've been playing a ton of that, Keith, behind the scenes. I haven't streamed too much of it, but I've been playing the 77 season. I'm still in week 1. And then last night I had the itch to watch the Buccaneers get destroyed. So I had them play the 76 Raiders. And I think it was 7-0 at the half. The Buck defense was getting the job done. They were keeping the Raiders out of the end zone for the most part. Errol Mann missed 3 field goals. Now, again, 2 of them were kind of long, and one of them was at like 50 yards at the end of the half, where I had to roll like a 1 or a 2. But he missed a chip shot field goal. He was 0 for 3 until late in the game, and the Raiders ended up winning 31-6 or something like that. So it was never in doubt. But it's still, I just was in the mood, so I got the Solitaire Pro Football, and I played that game there. But the Buck defense held good for a while. They really did. But I've been playing a lot of that. Let me see. VL says the Flyers are on right now. Okay. Do you like any non-sports games like wargaming games? I play small games. Like I say, the Pocket Landship is really small. It's just a regular mat. It's like a play mat. You can play on that. That Dice Conquest game is super fun, and the graphics on the cards are unbelievable. And it's like 4 or 5 cards on the table. That game is so good. And you roll a bunch of dice, and you're just kind of putting dice on the monsters to kill them, or the creatures, if you will. So that's a fun one there. And again, the blank slate's kind of like a match game, which is fun. So I'm going to bring in that. But as far as wargaming stuff, not really. I looked into it, and I really would like to play those Star Wars games. I just don't have the space for it here. I mean, if I clean off my table here and get rid of all the sports games that are like right at my fingertips, because I like having some games at my fingertips, if I move that, then I could have use of a big table there. But then I'd have to learn how to play a big game, and so I think I'd rather just kind of play my sports games. And I was looking around for people locally that I could go and sit in on some of these bigger games, and there's just nothing around, or at least nothing that I found that was welcoming, you know. And Joshua says, with all the games you're talking about showcasing and learning, we need a week-long conference. Yeah, well, we're gonna have two. We're gonna have 2.5 days. We're gonna have a lot of Thursday. Thursday will be the small room. Friday and Saturday we got like all day and most of the night in the big room, and then Sunday will be a little bleed over in the morning, probably in the lobby. So we'll have plenty of time. We'll have plenty of time to go over all the stuff here. Like I did when I went to the Hall of Fame there, I was showing off season ticket football because that wasn't released yet. So I was showing that to people, and we got a good 10 to 12 people playing that. So that was kind of fun. So I'll do the same thing with some of these other games. And again, we get so many other things. I had my list over here I was looking at. So we have the golf game from Akira. Oh, obviously ST with his new basketball game. I want to sit in on that. Ryan is supposed to have his soccer game there. I'm hoping somebody shows off Four Score Baseball, the new John Turnbull game, part of Blue Sports. John was supposed to come, but I'm not sure if John's coming right now. There's something come up with him, so I'm not sure he's coming. And I haven't learned it yet, so I don't know if I'll get a chance to learn it in the next couple of weeks or not. And I'm kind of hoping somebody brings the Game Pulse for Payoff Pitch on the computer. I think that might be released at the time. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. Plus the 2 or 3 games that I mentioned that I'll be showing off. Should be kind of fun. And Tony says Pocket Landship is pretty challenging for a small game. It is. I do pretty well with it if I'm playing it correctly. Again, these games you're not supposed to win all the time. The other game I like is Deep Space 6. That's another one I play, which is like a resources game where you roll the dice and you can either attack the aliens or heal your ship or put out a fire or it's just a constant stressful situation going on. But I just find that I get destroyed so fast in that game. If I play like with the normal amount of enemy cards, I don't make it 5 minutes. So I scale back the enemies and I try to get through some of that. But yeah, Pocket Landship is kind of fun. Let me see. Oh, the Flyers just scored. All right. Now, they're not at home, right? They got to be on the road, I would think, I think they're going to be on the road because they were weren't they the wild card? I think they were the wild card. And Some Rhodes was voting for the Knicks here. He's going to game 2 Monday. And now who are the Knicks playing? I haven't followed that at all. No, no Warhammer on the table. I do play Warhammer. I have it on Steam, Warhammer. And I have had some fun with it. We're just kind of directing the guys to go do whatever it is. I have enjoyed that, And Gus says he bought the golf game. Chris, that's the other one I gotta get. Yes, he's excited to try it out. Yeah, yeah, I gotta get that from Chris. I don't know if he was gonna send it to me on PDF or if I was gonna get it in the mail. But that's another one I'm gonna show off. So yeah, so there's gonna be a whole bunch of golf between Pocket Pro Tour courses and clubs, Appa Golf, and the Chris White golf game, VSU Golf. Yeah, and that's a fast play game, and I wonder how that's gonna work because sometimes those can be fun. Deep Space 6, I think there is an app for that. And it's not the real game. It's kind of an offshoot of that. But there's been a few reskins for that. Somebody did Star Trek, probably Star Wars. It's just so difficult. I can't beat it. It's almost bad as it was when I was talking to Ken the other night. One Deck Dungeon was the other game I played that was so hard that I couldn't beat it, and I was so frustrated I quit. And people are like, "Oh, this is great! It's so hard. It's fun." No, after a while, it's just not. It's just not fun, And Summerroad says, wish he was going to D. Daughter's college grad is on Thursday. I was talking to Mike about this, Mike Canistrari. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a little survey there. And we're going to ask people if they'd like to move it to maybe July. um, or June, because ST's got his April one, and Jeff does August at the Hall of Fame. So we got May, June, and July to get one done. May is tough because you have the graduations, you have the weddings, and then you have Memorial Day. And so May is a real tough month to squeeze in. So we're squeezing in. That was the only weekend available at the hotel that wasn't Memorial Day weekend or anything else. So there's a few people that aren't coming because it is that. But we're wondering if people would want to travel in June or July. And again, APA has their big one, and I think that's usually June. I think. But that changes all the time. I think they're working around the World Cup this year, if I'm not mistaken. That's one I'd like to get down to myself at least once. So we're talking about, like, we're going to talk to people this year. We're really going to talk to people and see, like, hey, what do we think about, would this be better? And the people that can't come, obviously, we'll talk to them too and say, hey, look, would July be better or June be better? Or you want to avoid, obviously, November to March, because obviously you got the holidays in November, December, and January, and then also you got the winter travel. So it's really hard to travel out of some of the snowy states when you're talking, anytime between November and March. So you're really kind of limited in how many months. And then you want to avoid the other ones. You don't want to overload them. So, and it's going to be all the Hawks. You know what I think about the Hawks, right? You know exactly how I feel about the Atlanta Hawks. Oh, they're too much. They're too much. Okay. That's right. The Flyers are in Pittsburgh, right? Oh, that's going to be they don't like each other. That's always a fun series. It's always a fun series. You did win. You did win some Deep Space Six. I have not been able to win that game. Not be able to win that game at all. Weekend after July 4th. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, too. We got to work around, is because if you if you have July 4th weekend and people travel and do that, are they going to want to go again the following weekend? Because some people take that time off and then they can't get another one off. So you always have to have a couple of weeks or so in between main events to give people a chance to take that time off. Or maybe it would work. Maybe if July 4th was on a Monday or a Tuesday, maybe we do it later that week, and now people can take that week off. I don't know. It's something we're going to talk about with people when we get there and set up in the next few weeks. So that's one thing we are going to talk about. But anyway, so yeah, getting back to my main topic, which was the Frankenstein thing. I'm wondering, now that we have some people in the chat room, how many of you guys do that? How many of you guys have a game on your table? And this is mostly for the tabletop. I don't know if you could really do this with the PC games. But do you borrow things from other games? If you're playing, and I'm just going to throw out examples. If you're playing, Payoff Pitch, do you borrow anything from APA or Strat or Inside Pitch? If you're playing, Strat Football, do you borrow something from Inside Blitz, let's say? No matter what it is, because I don't know about you, I play different games for different reasons, and like, this game does this game does that. We've gone over that over and over and over, and sometimes I just like how this game handles something. And even if it's not my favorite game, even if it's a game that doesn't make my table that much, I just like how they do that. And then my favorite game, a second favorite game, a third favorite game doesn't do it that way. And is there a way I can bring that into this game to make my favorite games a little better? Or do I just need to kind of borrow that? I mean, do I need to go in and, I say, pull up the team sheets from second season or Solitaire Pro or even, second season football? That would be a good one because that would pinpoint it too. So some people said they did that. So I'm kind of wondering, do you guys Frankenstein your games? Is kind of what I started this with here tonight, because I do. And with mixed results, the Solitaire Pro football with the APA football worked really well. I really, really liked how that worked. I think it sped my game up. Again, not that speed's an issue, but I thought it just took decisions out of my hands, and it just made it a little bit more fun. I do. I think it made it more fun because it called the play and it called the player, and I really did like that. And then the next day, I got my just team sheets off to the side. And with Solitaire Pro, it had the sacks. Not every season. I actually contacted Mike and I said, Mike, you got more sacks coming? Because 76 didn't have the sacks. And he goes, I do, but it's not on the sheet, so they're separate. So I got to go through all my seasons and see which ones don't have sacks. But I do like that. I do like the fact that I could roll to see who got the sack. That was a nice surprise that I never really did a lot of that with Solitaire Pro, but now that I've been playing and keeping stats in the helper, it's been great. And by the way, I'm back to using the Pro Football helper. I don't leave home without it anymore. It's just been fun. I used to use, and I still do use my Al Wilson 3D6 game and stuff, and I'll pull that out and use that once in a while because I still like to use that. But if I want stats, I have to go to the Pro Football helper, and I'm getting pretty good at that now. So, and Phoenix comes by. Good to see you, Phoenix. When you were playing Inside Pitch, I tried to borrow Rare Plays from Season Ticket, but I couldn't make it work. Of course, I was also having issues with Inside Pitch at the time. That's a hard game to play. I have that on the computer, and even with the computer helping me out, I couldn't make that work. It was to a point I just got so frustrated. I was like, I have too many other baseball games I enjoy playing than to fight with this one here. Some people love it, and good for you. If you do, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But myself, I'm not I have a hard time with it. Again, even on the computer, I had a hard time. The football game plays really well on the computer. The hockey game plays really well on the computer. Baseball game, I just don't get it. I tried and I tried and I tried, and I just don't understand it. And it's just there's some of the game mechanics I frankly just don't like, and I don't like how they do it. And that's even if I was playing it correctly, because I fought that game so badly. I was like, time to move on. But the football and the hockey work well. The golf works well, too, and I think they have a tennis that I enjoy, too. So most of their games are great. Now, I heard maybe the Inside Pitch Advanced, as silly as this sounds, I did hear a rumor that it was a little bit easier. Some of the things were easier than the regular game, so maybe they streamlined a few things. I don't know, but I would think Advanced would be more difficult. I would think, because I know the Upper Advanced, the Strat Advanced are way different than the Basics. So, let's see here. Back in the chat room here, Tony says, I have a formula I found years ago that calculates the letter grade Apple uses to determine a player stealing a base. I use that in all my games to determine if a player might steal. That's pretty cool. There is the hybrid with the Apple baseball, and I have the chart over here somewhere. And it's taken from the master game, actually. And so when you get the guy on base, you look at the chart and go down to see what the situation is, the score, the inning, and all that stuff, and then look at his rating, and that'll tell you if he can steal. And so that's in there. Now, again, with the Appa Master game, that you can steal, again, just go by that chart. So I think that's what it is, actually. But, yeah, I mean, I know some – again, now we're talking the hybrid. There's a whole – who was it that sent me that? Was that Alan that sent me that? Somebody had sent me like the hybrid between the basic and the master Apper baseball. And it looked pretty interesting, but I do like I like the basic I love, and I like the full-blown master. I really do. Checking all those different things. It's just, if I were to play the hybrid one, it's a little bit more than basic, but it's still, you don't get the full master version. But I haven't tried it, so maybe I would really, really, really like it. But somebody did send me the charts on that there. So, again, that would be a Frankenstein. That'd be a little basic, a little advanced, a little country, a little rock and roll. You know what I mean? So anything like that would actually work. Let me see here. Phoenix also says, I've turned on Inside Pitch. Chris Davis come out with some new base running charts that help, but I'm still not sure about it. Yeah, that's what it was with me. Was the base running, and there's a few other things that it just didn't work for me, and it's just me. It's just kind of how it is for me, and some other people love. Again, there's no issue with that, because I get games that I love, and people are like, how can you like that game? It is terrible. I like it. I like it, and what game is it? I forget what game it is that I absolutely love, and remember, Ron doesn't like it, hates a strong word. But Ron's like, I can't stand that game because it does this, this, and this. And I'm like, I think that's the best part of the game. And so, again, just two different opinions. And he's like, okay, if you like it, good. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, if you don't want to play, you don't have to play it. That's the great thing about it. But we went back and forth about, whatever game it was. And it's just, I liked some of the stuff that he didn't. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. So, IVL, good luck with the Flyers. Hopefully they do well for you tonight. And Summerroad says, I definitely make up my own rules for Apple to make it faster. So he likes the 6-inning game, mini seasons, let me complete products. So glad I've done this. Yeah, I can see that too. Shortening games to get it by a little quicker. Again, I did that with the baseline basketball. I need to get back to that project. In fact, I'm going to bring that too. I need to write that. I need to write this stuff down. Right, all these games I say I'm going to play. Right, I need to bring them. Baseline basketball. All right, so baseline basketball. Because I want to show people that was it the OBA? Instead of the ABA, it's the OBA. It's the Ohio Basketball Association, and that's the one where I got the 4 teams, and I'm just playing everybody twice. One's home, one's away. It's going to be a real short season, and then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have the playoffs to get the championship, and then I'm going to see if any of those teams leave. I'm going to come up with some kind of a dice rolling chart to see if any of those teams leave and how many teams I add to the league. Because he created like 100 fictional teams, and you just got to pick and choose which ones you want to use. And I have no idea who's good and who's bad, but I did kind of, just randomly pick them. But but with that one there, I created so you can play. It's a tie. There's no overtimes. So even though that game plays quick, there's no over. If regulation ends in a tie, it's a tie. That's it. And so that's kind of a Frankenstein. There's basketball games don't end in ties. But if you did that with baseball, if you did 6 innings, this was my suggestion. Maybe we were chatting about this on the text line. I forget now. Is that if I were to do some kind of a baseball tournament, to make it go quicker, I says I'd do 6 innings and no substitutions except maybe you could bring in one relief pitcher. But I would make it so you weren't sitting there trying to come up with, okay, who's going to go here and double switch in there, and just 6 innings, just get it done, and then have the games end in a tie, even with baseball. And that way there you could get your games done and play them and have a good time with them. And that's what I would do. And that way there you're not stuck playing 14 innings. Just 6 innings and we're done. And if you tie, you tie. 'Cause I was always a fan of ties in hockey. I really was. And I just can't see there sitting there on a Monday or a Tuesday night at a baseball stadium for 14 innings in the regular season. Not my thing. But again, that's a baseball thing. I don't want to touch too much on the purists there. But for me, it's like, yeah, I last about 6 innings of baseball, then I just want to go home. I've had enough baseball. I really am. But yeah, coming up with your own rules to shorten the game. That's I guess that would be considered Frankenstein. And in fact, that might even fall into fictional. Remember we had that fictional discussion a while back? We said, what actually is fictional? If you change the rules, is it fictional or is it just players? Or is it just the league? Is it just the teams? We had a good time that night talking fictional. So, and Tony B says, okay, that's the chart he's referring to. Yeah, that's part of the hybrid APA. But I think it's directly from the master game. And so that's why I like when I play APA baseball. I do like the new cards. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, about old cards and new cards with APA. And I really like all the new ones, the football, baseball, hockey. I love all the new ones. I have some of the older ones in football, hockey, and baseball. I just don't like them as much. I really, really like the bright white cards and then all the master symbols. So. Let's see here. And Ken comes by. Good to see you, Ken. Thanks for coming by. We were talking about how I'm gonna bring courses and clubs to the convention in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it is, and I'll show that off to anybody who wants to watch it, and how that you were gonna donate some prizes there. So we're gonna give away a couple of copies of courses and clubs the PDF version, so I do appreciate that. And I will get back to you. I got to get you my address so you can send me your other games, and we can figure out what we're going to do for giveaways for your game. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna bring that. I got to print out a bunch of score sheets, and what I think would be fun is to sit down and create a character with somebody and just have them play a couple of holes and see what they think about the game. Is what I was gonna do. We usually don't play full games and full tournaments. At least I don't. I just play like a period of hockey, a few innings of baseball, a quarter of football, just because I like to smorgasbord around. Some people play the whole game. I like to sample. That's what I like to do. I don't want to feel like I got to sit at the table for 2 hours to play one game. Not at a weekend thing when 2 hours is a lot of time to chomp up. And the Tim comes by and says, I use Strat Basic Sacrifice Bunch Shot and History Maker Baseball with mods to allow for errors and strikeouts. See, that is the perfect use of the Frankenstein that I'm talking about here. In fact, now Ken's here, Glowing Turtle, with Courses and Clubs. This kind of like kicked off the conversation for me was when I wanted to play the Courses and Clubs the other night, and I brought out the APA Pebble Beach, the big 11 by 17s, whatever they are for APA. I used that as my visual. And it was really fun to tee off and then see how many yards I went, and I put down my peg, and that's where I am, and then I missed the green. I'm on the green. So I was using the APA golf holes, if you will, the big sheets of paper there, or the big sheets of whatever, to kind of follow along with where my guy was. And, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I should bring that to Connecticut for the convention. So if we're playing 2 or 3 of us, we could all move our peg to see where we are. Right. And then the suggestion was, I think Ken brought up, was the best ball. That might be kind of fun. Right, to see what it says. I should do that. I'm going to do that. I'll bring Pebble Beach, and I'll bring those big sheets with me just so we can kind of see where we are, and maybe do a best ball. And who knows, maybe I'll get crazy and I'll order another season from APA just so I can play along with one of the other courses that you have. I just got to remember what they're called. They're called something a little different, but I know I do have Pebble Beach, and I got 2 others, but I might do that. I'm that silly that I could use that for my visual. So that would be fun to get 2 or 3, even 4 of us playing, rolling our own guys, and seeing where we are on the course. So that's probably going to happen. Because I'm bringing APA golf anyway, so I might want to get another course for that. I got to make my notes over here. That's what I do. I make notes. So I'm thinking about, this is going to be a fun convention. It's going to be so many fun things. I like showing off games. I like learning games. I really do. Which baseball simulator do I recommend? I play 4 of them. I like APA Baseball Basic. That's probably near the top of my list because it's just so simple to play. So I like the APA Basic. I have the APA Master, which is I'm still learning, but the APA Basic is just so fun. Payoff Pitch is probably the best value as far as cards go, and you do get every single player. APA, you get almost everybody. I think some seasons you do get everybody, but with Payoff Pitch, I know you do get every single player that played. And a Payoff Pitch is a little cheaper than APA. It's a little more difficult to play, though. It can get quite difficult, not quite difficult, but it's a lot more difficult than the APA. I also like Strat Basic, Stratomatic Baseball Basic. I like that. And also Season Ticket Baseball. And they have a basic mode as well as an advanced mode as well. And Season Ticket Baseball, that's a PDF. You can get the printed season, but the PDFs are the best way to go with that. And I think you can try Season Ticket Baseball for free. I think you can still do that. So you can download the game and a couple of teams. You can try it for free, see if you like it. So those are my 4 big ones right there. APA, Basic, Strat Basic, Payoff Pitch, and Season Ticket Baseball. Those are the 4 that get on the table the most. There's probably a few others that I played that just don't get on the table quite as much. But those are the ones that I've invested some time and money into. Okay, Phoenix Knight says, for baseball, I added a couple of house rules that I used in my 2001 replay. He's got his fast score house rules. After 12 innings, I finished with a clutch roll and fast score. Yeah, anything to do to help through that. That's pretty good too. I like that. Um, and I think the Frankensteining, right? Frankenstein is it's a little different than home brewing because I look at home brewing, and again, it's semantics we're playing here. I look at home brewing as your home brew. Okay, that this is how you see it and how you change it. Whereas Frankensteining is you're taking an actual rule or an actual piece or a rare play chart from another game and bringing it in because now you have an established piece of something that you're bringing in. So that's why I wanted to talk Frankensteining tonight rather than the homebrew. And they're similar, but again, the homebrew is like well, instead of Randy, I've been loving Randy. If you got to check out Randy's on YouTube, he's playing a lot of Apple football, and since that's one of my favorite games, I sit there. I put it on today. He had a new game come out today at 1:00, and I put it on after work, and I listened to it like an AM radio. It's great. But he has a homebrew rule where he rolls a 10-sided die, and if it's a 10, then they key on the runner or the receiver, and that's kind of like a master rule. But his homebrew is rolling the 10-sided die because he's playing solo. That would be a homebrew. Whereas, if there was a rule in another game that keyed on a player that you brought in, that would be a Frankenstein. So I guess that's kind of what we're doing here. And Phoenix says, also, I have a mercy rule. If the teams are separated by 10 or more runs, you call the game. Where's the fun in that? You don't want to have a 29-2 game? Oh, come on, right? Yeah, we're gonna have a fun time with this. We're gonna have a fun time with this. One way or another, we're gonna play some golf. Yeah, and that's what I like to do is to play different games, and just try them out. Because I can show these games on my channel till I'm blue in the face, and other people can too. But when you sit down at the table with somebody and say follow along, that's the way to go because now you have it in front of you and you can actually play it. And there's been so many games that I saw. I was like, yeah, it looks all right. Then I get it on my table. It's like, oh man, this is incredible. And you just can't project that in a video, no matter how good the video is and no matter how much you explain it. But maybe once you play it, you're like, oh man, that's great, And some roads is the Appa Basic fan. The card quality is great. It is. I do like that. The card quality is a big thing for me. I do like that. And yeah, Appa doesn't do the traded players, which I found in doing replays drives me nuts. Yeah, so what you got to do with Appa is that they will card the guys that finish the season, right? That's how Appa does it. And so if you're playing a game early in the season, and so you take out whoever, San Diego and Cincinnati, and where's Joe Schlesselberger from San Diego, and you look him up. Oh, he finished the season with Texas, so you got to pull out Texas and pull out Joe Schlesselberger, and then playing him in your game. And I've had to do that with Apple hockey too, and Apple football. So all three games. But you usually do find the guy, unless he had like one at bat or two at bats or something like that. Then you're gonna need the payoff pitch, because you'll get everybody. But yeah, I do like the card quality. But sometimes you do have to kind of hunt around. I agree. But sometimes that's half the fun, Hey, there he is. There's Randy. Randy, I was listening to your game today. I don't know if I like the modern games better or I like that 64. You've been playing a little bit of both with those Vikings here. So, guys, go check out Randy's Replay Sports channel on YouTube. He's just such a casual player. He's got like a replay gamer kind of style. We know the replay gamer, and I really it's just great to listen to. I saw that 1:00 today that you had to come out, so I got a bunch of work done, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday is my busy clump of work. So I collapsed on Saturday afternoon. So I put you on. I was listening to you with that the 2024 Vikings here. I'm a big 70s, 80s, and 90s football fan, but I know you have more 60s and newer stuff. But I did enjoy the 64 replay that you were playing there. You had the Packers one game and the Colts the other game. And those were fun. And when I was just talking about your homebrew there to use for the key and the players, I thought about that, and I'm tempted to do that. I'm tempted to try that. I really am. And look for your first Vikings replay game in 1962. So you're going back to the 60s. See, now here's the thing. Here's what you did to me, Randy. Right? So I'm more of a 75 and forward type of guy. Right? I really didn't go back to the before 75 too much. Bob Kasari gave me 72, so I have 72. I think somebody gave me 63 as well. So I have a couple of the older seasons. I have the Jets Colts Super Bowl teams, but I don't really have any full seasons going back 1970. That's the oldest one I bought. But now I find myself on YouTube looking at some of those, mid to late 60s seasons. And I'm like, damn it, do I want to pick up one of those? Because it's out of my wheelhouse. And every now and then I like to stray out of my comfort zone. So you got me interested in that. You really do. Oh, speaking of devil, there he is right there. That's the guy who, when I went out to, was that Canton we went to, and you gave me the 72 half of football. My jaw hit the floor. I was like, it's my favorite game, and you're going to give me the 1972 season? It was awesome. It was awesome. I actually made sure I had 72 in Solitaire Pro Football so I could play a game of 72 app and have it call my plays for me. So, yeah. So again, I'm enjoying your replays, Randy. So keep them going. I look forward to them. You got to keep posting the videos. I really look forward to people who play some of my favorite games out there. And Some Road says, you're welcome, and to the Turtle. And you have Appa has it just about everybody. And then if you need to, Chris White can fill in some of the gaps for you. Yep. So, I think it's Bob. Is it Bob? I think it's Bob, right? I'm hoping to get to Canton this year. I really do. I'm hoping two different things. If Mike wants to drive, I might go with him. If he doesn't want to drive, I'm actually thinking about taking the wife out there and taking like that whole week off and driving out, stop by, we'll say hi to Barbara on the way out there. And then we'll continue on to Ohio. And I think her sister might come. So when I go to the Hall of Fame to hang out with the guys at the Hall of Fame, then they can go out and do something, and they won't have to be bored as heck. So we're talking about something like that, if that works. So, again, there's no guarantees yet, and I know Jeff wants me to make a decision either way. I just got to see how things go. We get older now. We have health problems and things like that. So we got to make sure that we're both kind of healthy to go is what it is. But I did have a lot of fun on that trip with Mike. It was a long drive, so we might bust it up. Maybe we'll leave early and we'll stay somewhere halfway so we don't get too tired. So it's up in the air what we're gonna do with the Hall of Fame this year. I'd like to go though. And you're way older than me. How old do you think I am? I'm pretty old, In fact, my birthday's tomorrow. I'm gonna be an old man tomorrow. I'm kind of hoping that I can get some gaming in tomorrow because I know the wife wants to go to breakfast, and we got reservations for dinner. But last time I had Dave's gaming date, I just did a whole bunch of streaming and played some of my favorite games. So that's kind of what I want to do tomorrow. But I gotta, you got to do what you got to do. So you've done 63 to 65. That's really nice. That's really nice. I'm tempted to do something like that too. Tempted to get a couple of hotel rooms up there and see how it goes. But then again, you'd have Pippin, right? And we'd have Mim, so we'd be fighting in the car with the dogs. It might be a little too much. Mim doesn't get along with other dogs. She's a barker. She's a barker. So add 30 to that, Some Roads. Add 30 to that. We were talking about that the other day, how just, the body starts breaking down when you get older and different things happen. And yeah, it gets frustrating. It really does. But I want to talk about gaming and have a good time with this stuff here. So, so I got the baseline basketball, the app of golf, courses and clubs is coming with me. What else did I say is going to show off? I don't think I need to bring the baseline basketball. Hopefully someone's going to have that. Hopefully someone's going to have the baseline basketball. I should probably bring the fast drive football. That's one of those games. It didn't leave my table for a month. and then I haven't got it back on the table yet. But that's another one I really really like. Um, I'll probably bring some hockey for sure. So I got the baseline basketball again. I love that. I think that's Turnbull's best game is the baseline basketball. Then again, I do like that kind of basketball game. It's kind of like the VSU basketball. Maybe I'll bring that too uh, to show that off. So I have a couple seasons from Chris, and then obviously the VSU golf. Got to bring. Oh, I want to bring all my other games. The Dice Conquest. I need to bring the racing game, and I need to bring Blank Slate and Pocket Landship. The mat for that is fantastic. So, and I actually did buy the new version of Dice Conquest. It's called Pathfinder. So I'll show that off here on the channel. Is what I'm gonna do here. I'll show that off on the channel. So I got at least 4. Oh, Fuse. So I have about 4 games here that are non-sports related that we'll play. I think we actually did that to start the night that last time. Is that was a good icebreaker. We just kind of played these random games like parlor games, and it was such a good time. It really was. Oh, let's see here. Back in the chat, I'm a little bit behind. Yeah, age is a number until, oh, man, until you feel it. We've been tired all day. I come home from work and I was tired. She's like, I went out in the yard and worked for an hour now. She's tired. It's like, why are we so tired? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even remember 55, And Sean's taking a break from the playoffs to say hello. Fantastic. Who you rooting for this year? Now that all your favorite teams are out, I'm kind of wondering. Hockey should be on the table. Yeah, I need to do that tomorrow, right, for my birthday stream. If I can sneak away tomorrow, I should do that. So you want the Pens? All righty, go Post Malone. All right. And Matt comes by. He's going, go Penguins. Yep, go Penguins. And Gary comes by. Hey, Gary. He says 4-score baseball is really fun. Is that the Turnbull game, the new John Turnbull game? He just sent that to me. I haven't unboxed it yet. I was watching his video on that. It's like, oh man, it's a lot more busy than I thought it was going to be. But maybe if I gave it a try, it would be fine. Hey, Michael comes by. Good to see you, Michael. He's worked all day in the D2D stuff, swag bags and raffle stuff. Yeah, I've been I've gotten more things added to the raffle, Michael. I really do. I think we're going to have another good raffle this year. And I haven't even reached out to some of the other people that donated last year. So, but some guys are going to bring. I need to get my raffle stuff. I need to go over that. Because I got some people that are sending me things, some people sending you things, some people bringing things. So I want to make sure that we have that all set. Birthday conversations with Waffle House? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, I do want to stream something tomorrow. Again, it's my day, right? So I should be able to tell her, hey, I'm going to go do something, but I don't know what she's got planned. I tell her not to plan anything. We're too old for that stuff, but we are going to dinner at our favorite place. So, okay, so Gary opened it up today, and it's really quick and fun. I just was trying to follow along with it. Again, maybe it's one of those games, if somebody has it and it's coming to the convention, if they showed me how to play it might make more sense, because I tried to follow along with some of the videos, and I was like, holy cow, this is a little bit more busier than I was hoping it would be, because the baseline basketball is snap finish, and the red ice hockey is snap finish. This really looked like a science project, and that's what Courses and Clubs is, and I like it. I just don't know if how that's going to work for baseball, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just kind of how I watched it. So maybe if I watch more videos, I'll get better at it. So yeah, so many games. Oh man, I know. I just filled up my sheet already with games. Look at this. I've already filled up my sheet with games that I'm gonna bring. Oh my gosh, and that I don't even have any of the football games or the hockey games. I don't know if should I bring the app of football this year. See, it's such a big game. It's like I did play a little of the '76 Buccaneers at the Hall of Fame the year before, and that was my goal. I said I need to play the '76 Buccaneers even for a bit. So me and ST played some Apple football. So I just showed them how I played it, and we were having a fun time. We really, really were having a fun time with the Apple football, playing it Dave's way. But I don't know if I need to bring that because again, I brought so much. I brought 2 suitcases full of games last year, and I only brought out like 5 of them. I think I just didn't bring out that many of them. So I got to see what I want to do with that this year. Um, but I do want to play some of the non-sports games. I do want to do that. That's kind of fun. I didn't think about bringing Ken Maka. Oh, I'm a Martha, Ken Maka for a birthday game tomorrow. That might work. That might work. Let's get Ken Maka. We haven't had Maka Madness, right, in a long time. Maka Mania. I think it could be time for some Maka Mania. I think it could be some time. Yeah, that's a good one there. I had some fun. It's funny how some of those things just kind of worked out, right? Because that was from Strat. Because I hadn't played Strat in forever, and I didn't realize 5 was bad because I just hadn't played it in so long. And that's the other thing is if I can sit down with the Big Red Machine, he's bringing a bunch of Strat stuff, and again, I want to get in his head about the seasons, and I want to sit down and have him show me some of the games, I want to go with the basketball again if he knows how to play. I know I think he was the football guy, but I want to go over all the Strat stuff again. I need to get back and play some Strat and show that some love. But it's the seasons that's the killer. It really is, and I need to tell him that. Just be quite honest with him that some of these other games get tons of seasons, and you get the itch to play some of these seasons. And if there's only 1 or 2 seasons I would actually play in a game, I'm not going to invest myself. And there's been a few games like that it's like, boy, this is a fun game, but you don't have any seasons that I'd like to play. So anyway, so what else? So what else is going to be on my list? So I am bringing a basketball game. But I don't know which hockey game I'm going to bring. I should bring Bones. Bones is easy. There's really no tables to bring. I don't need to bring that big book or anything like that. I thought about that. Bruins game 1 on my birthday. Picking them to beat the Sabres in the series. Really? I don't think the Bruins are that good. Funny Bruins story. 1976, I think it was. They played the Kings in the playoffs. That's when it was like 1-16. That's when the playoffs were awesome. 1-16 playoffs is great. In fact, I always wanted to do some kind of a hockey, not a tournament, but some kind of a playoffs and pick a season and go 1-16 and play at 1-16 because I always thought that was the best. But anyway, when I was a wee lad, and I wasn't as old as I am now, which is funny because now that I can stay up late and no one can tell me to go to bed, I find myself going to bed early when I can. But I would only be allowed to watch the first period as a kid. And, which is, that's great. We have Bobby Orr, the best guy to ever play the game, and I can only watch 1 period of Bobby Orr. Thanks. But when I was, what I'm getting at is if the Bruins played on my birthday, I got to watch the whole game. And they played the Kings in the playoffs one time in 76, I think it was. And I was able to stay up and watch the whole game that night. Or at least 2 periods until I fell asleep. But that's the one I remember. And in fact, if I go back, April 19th, 76, I think it was, they did play the Kings, or 76 or 77, one of those years. And, I got to watch the whole game as a kid, and I remember that. I could probably go back and figure out what happened in that game, but if I go to Hockey Reference. But so that's my Bruins birthday story, is that. Let's see over here. Yeah, I have not looked into Here's a Pitch. I haven't looked at too many new baseball games. I just haven't. Okay, and Joshua says Hockey Bones. Okay. You're bringing some Hockey Bones? Fantastic. I know Bob Gassari brought that to the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame, and it's just like, how'd you smuggle in a hockey game? He's like, Him and Tebow were playing hockey bones. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was awesome. I hope it's another year better. I hope it is. I hope it is. And thank you so much, Randy. Again, I really enjoy your stuff. I'm glad I found your channel. I'm glad we've been able to kind of chat about it too, because I enjoy watching people play Apple football. It does two things. When I watch somebody play a game, like I watch Dwayne play his Apple Master game, and a few other guys play, whatever it is I'm playing, it just kind of confirms to me that I'm playing it correctly. Because I always wonder if I'm playing it correctly. And then when I see somebody else play it and they play it the same way I am, I'm like, oh, man, this is awesome. And then I see some of the little twists that people put in. Like you added that 10-sided die for the key. It piqued my interest to maybe try that. The only thing I'm concerned about that is the risk reward with that. Is that if you key a guy, you take away from him, but if you key a different guy, then you're supposed to. I don't know if there's any side effects or any, if you key on somebody and you key on the wrong player, is there any penalty for that? And so, because like when I play solitaire pro football, if you rush the punter, there's a chance that you can block the kick. It gives you a little extra chance to block the kick. But the downside of that is there's some chances that the chances are greater that you can rough the kicker, or he gets away his longest kick, or there's no return or something like that. So I was always wondering that with solitaire pro. I mean, I might just rush the kicker every play, right? Because there's no downside to it, but there kind of is. There was another game. I think it's APA. I think it's the APA Master game that if you rush the punter, then you can't get a return. It's an automatic fair catch. So my thinking is every time that you try to go beyond and get an advantage, there's got to be a disadvantage to that. So that's why I don't do the keying thing, because I just kind of figure out, I just let the play happen, and if they make a play, they make a play. I just kind of think everything's kind of baked in, and that's just how I have it. And Ron, because I good to see you, Ron. Yeah, it's been a while. Hopefully things are okay with you. Hopefully things are okay. Tomorrow is the day. It was kind of messed up because I was looking at my phone. This is probably the old age kicking in. I looked at my phone and something said it was Monday. And I was like, oh, it looks like Monday's the day. And then when I looked, today was the 18th, and I was like, wait, I thought the 19th was Monday. Why is today the 18th? And I'm working, So I don't know. But again, I could have sworn I looked at my phone and 19th was Monday. But I'm wrong, Am I going to Canton? I'm still undecided. I would like to go. I think I got that week off, so I could take it off and we could just make a week out of it. I don't know what vehicle we would take. I don't really want to take my own, because if it breaks down in Ohio, I ain't going back to Ohio, because sometimes it takes weeks to fix these things. So I'm probably going to rent a vehicle. And I don't know if Michael's going to Ohio, if he's driving or not. So I'm either going to team up with him again, or there's a plan that I might take my wife and her sister out there, and we'll rent a car and go out. I don't know. It's all these different plans happening. I'd like to get out there again, because I did have fun, And Randy says the keying dies to take off from playing face-to-face for years. I think without it, the offensive stats are too good. I think you might be right with that. I think you might be right. The master is really more face-to-face with that stuff there. But I remember watching Tebow play with ID, of all people, and they were talking about, keying on people. It's just like you always key on their best guy, and it would always take away. So you would get a good roll, and instead of, 8 yards, you get 2 or 1 or 0. It's like, it's just I thought it was too easy to key on somebody, because, okay, I'm going to key on Tony Dorsett. Every single time I'm going to key on Dorsett, right? Well, he'll never get any runs, because you're always going to take it away from him. And what's the downside of that? So if you key on Dorsett, do I get a bonus somewhere else? So if I go to somebody else, can I bump him up? Or if I pass, can I bump up the pass? That was my only thing about the keying I didn't like. And I know someone smarter than me designed the game. I know that. I get that. But anyways, that's just again just my second guessing that, I guess. And it's going to be your first convention. Nice. Yeah, you're going to have a blast. The conventions are so fun. You just kind of hang out and talk to people, and you talk about games, and you play games. You find new games, and as we do, it's like, I know that, me and, Mike Canastrari there, geez, we come home with so many new games or games that we bought on our phone or whatever. It's just, just great. And even out in Colorado, there was so many games out there. It was just a good time. Oh, and he's not here tonight, but John Heckel was playing courses and clubs, and he rolled a hole in one. Son of a gun, he got a hole in one, and he went back and he put all the dice rolls and what happened, and it was confirmed he actually got a hole in one on a par three, and he didn't even really have a like an unbelievable roll. It was an okay roll, but just when he got that he rolled one low and one high, and that was good enough to get the hole in one. But it wasn't like he rolled like the maximum dice roll for everything, and that's how it happened. It was still, still within the parameters of like, oh, that was a good shot, but it rolled in the cup, so good for him. Good for him. If you key on Dorset, take it to the air. Well, that's the thing. So if you call a run and they key on Dorset, and then you take them down a couple notches, well, what if you give it to Newhouse, or Ron Springs or somebody like that? Is there any benefit to someone else? That was my thing. Well, and that's the thing, Randy, is I'm asking. So if you double cover Jefferson and you throw to somebody else and that pass is complete, do you get more with that other guy? So I don't know how you play it. So if you key wrong, do you add a benefit or do you only key down? So if they get it right, they get it right. Just kind of wondering how that works. That's why I haven't done it. I have, though. Okay, his whole other topic here. Speaking of Frankensteins, injuries. I started to play with injuries in Apple football. And I forget what game I was playing. I don't even remember. What game was I playing Apple football the other night? Yeah, I think it was a 1990 game because I have that season. I hadn't played anything, so I think I played a game in 1990, and I think I was just playing it myself. I don't know if I streamed it or not, but I decided to use injuries with the J numbers. So I read up on the injuries and how you use injuries in Apple football, and I started to use them. And I get a couple guys hurt. I got a guy in the offensive line, a guy in the defensive line, or defensive back. But anyway, so I had a couple guys that were out for the quarter. And so I had to go to my extra cards and bring in a replacement, which I did. And it did change the defensive card number by a couple. So I did that. And it was actually more enjoyable than I thought it would be because now, the backups in there. So I always wonder about when the backups go in there. So so I had a guy go in on each team to finish out the quarter or the half, and I just had to remember to take them out and bring the other guy back. But I started using injuries, and I think I might start doing that with hockey. I tried it one time with hockey, and it was okay. But I really, really did. I really did enjoy the football injuries. And not that I want to see people get hurt. You know what I mean. But it's just adding that little extra spice to the game. It's like, okay, this guy's going to come out. And again, I had a quarterback get hurt, right? But he was a J0, so he only missed the play, and he come right back in. But even that, I had to bring in the backup quarterback for a play. And it just made it feel more like football. It really did. And so so I started playing injuries in Napa football, and I am enjoying it. I really am. Now, Solitaire Pro doesn't have the injury, so I'm not going to worry about it. But if I do have the cards and injuries, yeah, it's again, it just took a long time for me to get to this point. It just did, you know. And Sean says, I saw various hockey games already released in 2025-26, so people playing the playoffs. Yeah, Turnbull at Red Ice Hockey released it, and I think Grant Fines over at 49 Quick Tex Hockey also got it out. So yeah, so you can stop playing the playoffs if you like. Yes, you can. Lake Effects comes by. Good to see you. And he says the awesome thing about the tabletop, all the injuries without actually being hurt. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, again, like Ron always said, the cards never tire, and the cards can't get hurt. You can just take them out of the game and put them back in, right? That's what you do. But it's been, maybe I was just ready for it because for so long I was like, I'm just going to play as played. I want to bring him back because I don't know who else is in the game. They're bringing as a backup, but it was kind of fun digging out a backup for even the rest of the quarter. It got some other people into the game. I'm going to say that, and I really did enjoy that. So, let's see here. Rogue. Let's see, Rogue, what do you got here? Rogue says, I love watching Rogue stuff. He posts on Facebook all the time. I really like watching his stuff. I do my keying in Apple Football differently. Instead of moving down the chart on a correct key, I go from S to G on runs. Oh, that's interesting, too. That wouldn't be that terrible, right? If you keyed that, yeah, that wouldn't be terrible at all either. I just don't like you move up 2 lines or down 2 lines. I think that's a big jump, especially if you finally get a good roll and it's like, oh, no. I'd like to think it was all baked into the game that even without the keying, if you rolled good, then the guy made the play. And if you rolled bad, then the other team made the play. Maybe he was keyed on. That's kind of how I look at it. Take it for what you will. But again, that's a nice little homebrew there. Bringing it down from S to G, right? Okay. AP comes by. Good to see you, AP. And speaking of the devil here, we've been talking about Mr. Turnbull here. As I'm told, I'm going to be bringing my baseline basketball project to Connecticut for D2D Con in a few weeks. And he just released the 25-26 hockey season, so you can play some hockey playoffs, if you will. John, did you just release the playoff teams, or do you have that whole season done? I saw you posted something today, but I was just kind of doom scrolling through, and I didn't catch if it was just the playoff teams or not. Oh no! Do you have the Crappy Cup? Is that what you're doing too? So maybe you do have everybody. Okay, so he has the entire season. Okay, perfect. Cool. And AP's been playing the new Turnbull baseball game. I got it right here. This is the box right here. I've been working. I haven't had a chance to open it yet. But he did send me a copy, so I'm gonna be bringing that down to the convention too. So I have not had a chance to learn it. John is doing what? Oh, the Crappy Cup. Okay, I think we were talking about the Crappy Cup, but the bottom teams. Yeah, it's always fun to play the bottom teams. Okay. Yeah. So I haven't played the baseball game yet. I did watch some of the videos on it. It looks intimidating. I'm not going to lie. It looked a little intimidating. But maybe once I get it out and read the directions for myself and kind of play it with the video that I saw, maybe it won't be so bad. So I'm kind of hoping it's not going to be too bad. I'm kind of hoping it plays nice and quick and gets me a nice baseball score. That's what I'm kind of hoping. All right. So my sparkling ice, I like the stuff here. A little sweet, 0 sugar, pineapple flavor. I like the lemonade the best. It's not too sweet. Yes. Powder Blue Sports, great. Yep. And you did not pay Rob to say that. Yeah. Hey, well, that's good. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna finish out my basketball season and then expand the OBA. I might have to expand the OBA outside of Ohio, right? I don't know where I would go, but I guess you could have other teams play in the Ohio Basketball Association, right? I guess I could call it the Ohio Area Basketball Association now, if I expand. Those games have been fun. I think I got one team that's really bad, and it's just kind of fun. Don't go into Michigan. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's an orange version of that, and I don't know if no, it's not the Lifesavers. It's another candy or fruity, and it's just way too sweet. It's like, oh my gosh, it is like so sweet with the flavoring. It's like I can't drink it. This ain't too bad. I do like the milder ones. Yeah, I won't go into Michigan. Okay, I won't go into Michigan. Um, but and John, did you say you were gonna send up a um the baseball game for the raffle? I think you were talking about that, right? Yeah, you were gonna. Yeah, you said you were gonna send that to Mike, right? So we're gonna have his new baseball game, uh, and I think we're gonna raffle that off if I'm not mistaken. There, so now he's got like a whole line of games now. Yes, game for the raffle. Oh, and a season. Nice, nice. So I'll do an unboxing of mine here and then give it a go. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Maybe I'll open it up and look at the directions tonight. That's usually what I do late at night, like when I'm done playing or streaming, whatever I do. I'll go upstairs and just put on TV, whatever, and just that's when I read my instructions. That's what I did with Hockey Bones. There was one night I says, okay, I'm just gonna put on something mindless on the TV and read Hockey Bones. It's like, right now I know how to play it. And I did that with Bank Shot Basketball and so many other games. If I can't pick them up right away, then I go upstairs and I watch them in front of the TV and I read my instructions and I chill out and just enjoy that. I just have the TV on just to kind of make some noise. That's what I do. But that's how I learn my games, just like that. Um, and Lake Effect says, I don't think we ever saw who won Guess the Seasons. I don't remember what that was, but. And Ron says, my best friend's son-in-law is the new DL coach of Michigan. Nice. Nice. That should be fun. And Sean's playing some stone cold hockey. Gretzky's got 9 goals already in 83. Of course he does. And Benjamin Gross was the answer to one of the questions there. Fun things there. But anyway, so getting back to the Frankenstein topic, now that Mr. Turnbull's here, we were talking about his game. So if you played a quick play hockey game, like a final score hockey, or there's a couple other games like that you can play. Even the VSU hockey games you can get final scores from. You can grab a red ice hockey or ultra quick hockey or stone cold hockey, and then you have the finder numbers for your goals and assists. And so that was like one of the first Frankensteins I ever did was when I started grabbing some of the ultra quick hockey finders and getting the scores for my quick play games. So I like to do that. And again, I like to bring in maybe some of the rare plays from different games into other games. So I don't know. I enjoy my Frankensteining. I do. I enjoy bringing in rules from other games as long as it doesn't wreck the game and it doesn't. You're not going to get 18 goals in a hockey game or something like that. As long as it doesn't wreck the game and it makes it fun. Sometimes I know people that handle injuries very differently. So I like how this game handles injuries. So that's what I do with all my games is handle it like this. So that's fine too. And Sean hasn't Frankensteined a game yet. You haven't lived until you Frankensteined a game, let me tell you, Well, that's a great thing. If you don't know the rules, you can kind of bring in rules from somebody else, Oh, you don't like the fact that his the grandkids will be in Michigan? Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do, And John says, I initially used Family Football Player Finder when I started playing Drive Time. Yeah, I saw a few people do that. I did. How they brought out the family football and they were using that. So, and now you get the Fast Drive football, right? If you get the enhanced seasons, you get the finders on there as well. But that's only the runners, the receivers, the kickers, and the quarterback, I think. So you wouldn't get sacks or anything like that, but you could figure out who scored. But I don't know if that's who gets the ball though. But yeah, if you got a quick play football game, I suppose you could, right? You could just, if you get the final score, you know how many touchdowns you get, right? So yeah, so yeah, um, yeah. Shots on goal, the number of goal he saves in red ice. Yep, they do a lot of those stats, and well, you get the PWHL running. I was watching some of that the other night, and what was the other league? Was that like the NWHL, the WNHL that they had before? I didn't really like that. I don't know what it was, but the league they had a few years ago, I just didn't like. This PWHL, I found myself watching some of that. Like it'll come up on YouTube or it'll be on Nesson up here in the Boston area. I've actually watched some of it, and I'm like, this is pretty good. Compared to the other one, it's way better. So, yeah, I don't have any PHL sets yet, but it's I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I don't know if APA's done any PWHL. I know they did the Olympics. I thought about getting the Olympics, but again, I don't play much modern sports, modern seasons. I like to go back to my 70s and my 80s, and now thanks to Randy, I'm going back to the 60s. Oh man, don't make me buy some 60s from APA now, right? And John says Red Ice has last year's out. Okay, and I'll be doing this season in a few weeks when it ends. Nice, nice. John, do you have to wait until the season's completely over? I asked Clay that question one time when we had him on, and I said, "Do you have to wait until the very, very end of the season when everything's done? Or is there any like prep you can do to start your ratings and start setting things up? And I think he said he liked to wait until it was all done, and that way there he didn't have to mess around. But I didn't know how it's set up. If there's anything you could do beforehand, as far as setting up carding teams or players. I know you need all the stats to officially do it, but I didn't know if there's, yeah, I can do this, this, and this, and then when everything's done, I just plug in this. So I didn't know. Um, okay, yeah, this guy kind of, so he can prep the spreadsheet and just waiting for the numbers. Okay, I kind of figured that. Okay. And Rogue says, I've used the Hockey Bones assist system in APA and inside the crease penalty system in a few other games to get the actual penalty called. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about Frankensteining, because I've done that too, is I really like the Hockey Bones delay the penalty, when the penalty on the delayed penalty. I really like how they do that, and APA doesn't have that. And I think it was Joe Cards the other day sent me a message. He goes, "How does APA handle the delayed penalty?" And I says, "I don't think they do. It's not like Hockey Bones where there's a chance for a delayed penalty and a shot. I don't think APA does that, but there's some homebrew rules of doing that. But I thought about actually taking the Hockey Bones way of doing it and seeing if they can at least get a shot on net. And I've had goals on delayed penalties with Hockey Bones before, and it's been kind of fun that it was during a delayed call. It added to the fun of the games. But yes, I've even the penalties. Yeah, the inside the crease. I still can't figure out the penalties, and I know PJ did a video on it. Now he's going to pop up because I said his name, right? But I still couldn't figure it out, and I just did the best I could with it. I still struggle a little bit with the APA penalties, trying to get the misconducts, and even the Hockey Bones. But the Hockey Bones, I think by far is the best setup for penalties. When it comes to a hockey game, Hockey Bones, there's so much that it does. It really does. It does so much right. And the delayed penalty call is great. The penalties themselves are just laid out for you. I find with Hockey Bones, I get more coincidentals and more double minors and more things like that than I do with APA. Some reason I just don't have the APA penalty system down, and I use the Mike Berger system. It just that very, very rarely ever generates coincidental minors. And when you're playing Hockey Bones, you just go down, and if it's like a A or a B, or whatever that is, then you know that you got some coincidentals here, and that happens a lot in hockey, and I like when I get those. So that's why I love to play the hockey bones, is because they do some of that stuff just so nice. It really is. And Malkin scored to tie it up. So Philadelphia and Pittsburgh are tied up here. I should probably, the only thing about round one is I don't know if all the games are on, like what channels they're on. Like some are on ESPN, some are on the Spice Channel, some are on the Gardening Network. You know what I mean? So it's hard to find some of these games sometimes. But I mean, if you hunt around, you can find them, I guess. Usually the first round is really good. The last couple of years, the first round of playoffs, they all go 7 games, and everybody's all bloody nosed, and it's a fun time, watching those first few rounds play out. Last year, I think there was a couple teams that got crushed, and it wasn't that fun. But see, now you flushed it out. You flushed it out, Rogue. Appa's multiple rebound shots and hockey bones instead of the one. That okay. Now that it's out there, it's out there. That is the one big issue that Appa does better than hockey bones. Is I'll get 3, 4, sometimes even 5 rebounds, especially on a bad goalie, because a bad goalie cannot cover up the puck. And so it's a shot and it's a save and a rebound, or the puck goes to this guy, and if he can't clear it, he gets a shot. And that's the exciting part of Appa, where it's shot, save, rebound, save. And you see the goalie make 2 or 3 saves, maybe 4 saves, and then maybe they finally score, and they're like, well, he can't keep them all out. So, but with the hockey bones, it's one. You're right. It's 1 rebound. And I brought that up to Dave one time. And I said, Dave, what, Appa, you can get as many rebounds as you can get. In hockey bones, it's 1. He goes, do you know we ever brought that up before? And he goes, to get the stats right, you kind of need to do it this way. So sometimes I sneak in an extra rebound on hockey bones. I'm not going to lie. But that's one of those, if I Frankenstein that in, I've been told that could really screw up the game stats. Because hockey bones, out of the box, I don't need to do anything to that game. I don't think nothing, except I don't really do the injuries yet. That's the one thing. I tried it, and it was really hard to especially if a guy got injured, and he's like, well, now he's a -2 for all his numbers. And so now you have to write that down and remember it. I never remembered it. But yeah, the 1 rebound thing always killed me with hockey bones because it took away the excitement. But at the end of the game, I found the bones to be really, really good as far as believability, as far as, again, accuracy. We use that term very loosely. But I found that to be really, really good. So I don't want to mess with that too much. But yeah, that is the one thing, is the 1 rebound. It's always like, come on, really? Amazon Prime had 3 games today, John says. Are you kidding me? So are we really now going to be putting things on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and Vudu and all these other platforms, Pluto? I don't know. Yeah, man. That's the frustrating thing. And yeah, I should get some bones on the table. It has been a while. Roll the bones out here. I think the last bones game I did was for the project, the 93-94 project, when I grabbed that team from Calgary and it had the goalie that played 1 game. So I had no choice. I had to play it in hockey bones because they had him carded. Appa didn't. Shootout didn't. Shootout didn't even have him in the backup goalie because they only played 1 game. So they didn't even bother rating him. And I think he gave up 8 goals in real life, and he gave up 7 in mine. So it was, again, hockey bones is pretty darn good with that stuff. Yeah, we should get some hockey bones on the table. We really should. That's a good call, Barbara. I like that. Let's change up the scene here. So yeah. So again, so many games I got on my list here, and I'm going to be adding to this too. What's great about like the games like the courses and clubs, baseline basketball, fast drive football, they're all like small boxes, and they I don't need they don't take up a lot of room on the table. So I really do like that. I'll have to bring some of my scoreboards too. Yeah, I'll bring the Al Wilson scoreboards, and I'll bring the Will I bring the big one? Should I bring the big one? The the Victor Wenzel one. Yeah, maybe I could bring that one too. It wouldn't hurt to have more scoreboards there, right? It wouldn't hurt to do that. I'll bring some of the VSU games. I do like the basketball, and we'll check out the golf. I haven't got the golf yet, but I do definitely want to play that at the convention. And what else we got going on here? I need to add to my list here. I say I don't know if I'm going to bring Bones down there. I played it last year a little bit. I played a period of Bones. I played a period of what's Stone Cold? Might have been. I played a couple of hockey games last year at the convention, and then I kind of walked around and watched some of the games. Yes, Rogue. They took away the Godzilla channel. However, I will say this about Pluto TV and the Godzilla channel. It really was the same 5 movies. And if I saw Mothra 2 one more time, they didn't have them all. So it really wasn't a full Godzilla channel. It was a I don't know if it was the Toho era or the other era, but it was only a handful of movies. There was a lot of Mothra, maybe some Gamera. And so they didn't have some of the heavy hitters that I would have liked. It'd be great if it was an actual Godzilla channel and they played any of the Godzilla movies from the first one all the way up to the one from a couple years ago. But they really did narrow it down to the same 4 or 5 ones. So I would put it on and be like, oh, man, this one again. So I would tune in, and then after a while I was like, yeah, that kind of stinks. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I would always stop there. You know what I actually did is I went and they had a Stargate channel, Stargate SG-1. And so that would come on. And that got me into such a Stargate mood that I went over to Amazon Prime, who has all the Stargates, and I watched the entire 10 seasons of Stargate from episode 1 all the way through. And it took me a few weeks to do it. But and some of those, a lot of I remember because I was a big Stargate guy. But some of those, I don't it was kind of neat binging it and then watching the progression of the characters and the villains, and it all made more sense because you'd watch it and get bits and pieces, but when you kind of put it all together in a sequence and it tells a big overarching story, it was fun. So I went back and I watched the entire Stargate series. Let's see here. He's looking for the 70s, 80s MLB schedule just for the National League. I don't know if Baseball Reference would have it set up like that. I'm not sure. Yes, I want to see that, John. Bring the Fenway Park. I want to see that. I know Mike has one too, so I'm hoping he'll bring that too. Yeah, that might not make it home with you, John. Yeah. Rogue, the same thing. YouTube's got two of them actually, 24-hour Godzilla channels on YouTube, and they're both like the same. If I see that lobster one again, he fights the lobster. I forget what the name of it was, Hydra or Godzilla versus. I don't even know what it was now, but that's the only one that I ever see on there. That's the only one I see is that damn lobster one, and that's the worst one. Eudora of the Deep or something like that. But that's the worst one. That lobster one is probably the worst Godzilla movie of all of them, and that's the only one they play. So, and oh no way, Mike says we have one for the raffle from Vic. Oh, I might have to get in on this raffle. That's awesome. That's awesome. And YouTube gives you Mystery Science Theater 3000. YouTube has everything. That's all I watch all day. I watch like some of the bad drivers and the accidents. It's kind of hard to watch because people do so many certain things. But I watch that. I watch a lot of the community stuff here. A lot of the community stuff. Sometimes I'll just put on a game and just let it run. Things like that. So Rogue Borg says, Ibera Horror of the Deep. Yeah, that's the one. That's on like 10 times a day. It's like, forget it. Forget it, what I'm probably gonna do, and I was talking about this when Ken was on here, the glowing turtle, with the courses and clubs. When I go to show this off, I think what we'll do is set up a best ball where we each create a character and we tee off. And I'll bring the Appa Pebble Beach course, and if I get another one, I'll bring that too, just in case we have two. And we'll do a best ball, and then we can do it live. So we all tee off. We just take the best tee off, and then we all hit that again, and we should be able to run through a few holes pretty quick with that. So that could be fun. I played a best ball tournament one time, and it was fun. And in fact, the hardest hole, I forget what they call that as far as like the course ratings, but it was a par 4. And it was the highest rated hole, like the hardest hole to par. And it was my father-in-law when he was alive at the time. And he hit his drive right down the middle. Everybody else was off in the woods, but he hit down the middle. And so so I dropped my ball, and it was my turn to hit. I hit a 3-wood. It was the straightest shot I've ever hit in my life, and I don't know how I did it. And it was from the fairway, and it went on the green, and it rolled by the hole. It went like 10 feet by the hole. So we all used, obviously, my shot for the second one. So they said, you get the putt because it's your shot. And I went up, and I sank that 10 or 15-foot putt, and we birdied the hardest hole at the course. And that was like the highlight of our day. We were terrible. we were terrible. But that one hole, I hit a smacking 3-wood down the middle, and I drained the putt. That was great. So I like playing best ball. So, and yes, Victor, did you guys see that one that I got from him? I think you guys have seen that, the one with the dials, so I can dial in the score. Because as much as I love the Al Wilson stuff, taking out the tiles, like for basketball, it works great because you don't have to, keep changing the score. You just hit the dial. But I like to use that because I can just kind of dial it in, and I don't have to kind of move the tiles around. So sometimes when I get lazy, I do that. The Dallas Minnesota game today, and Dallas could not skate with them. I thought Dallas was good. I could be wrong. I thought Dallas was good, but maybe they're not. But yeah, we could have a best ball tournament. That could be kind of fun because that's kind of co-op, right? Yeah, I need to get in on the St. Andrews one. Is what I need to do. The create your guy, and then you play 4 rounds of St. Andrews and see where you fit. That's kind of neat. And that's something you can do by yourself. So I need to play that. Although if John keeps getting those holes in ones, I don't know if I can keep up with him, right? Son of a gun. Got a hole in 1. Too funny. But then I could go get my Fast Drive football. If I could bang on a couple of games, I could get back to that. My season replay with Fast Drive football. I need to get back to that. I was doing 79. That was fun. And Dallas is good, but they have some issues. Okay. Victor's basketball scoreboard could do triple digits. I heard somebody asking Al for a 3-1. The one I had is just a 2. So if I hit 100, I would just go 00, and I would know what it would mean, So I haven't checked out his new stuff yet. And again, I don't play enough basketball to go and buy a whole new basketball scoreboard from him. So I like the one that I got. I use it for a lot of things real quick, Oh, John, that was you? Okay, so that was you asking Al? Okay, yeah, because I saw someone asking Al about that. Yeah, I like how Al's he keeps modifying his scoreboards, because I was the one that was putting the inning of the period in, and so on his new stuff, he built a little shelf, so now that tile will sit there. So it's nice that he watches people use his stuff, and then what he does is he'll just kind of work around that and make it a little bit better. So it's kind of great. His stuff's really evolved. I still have the original one he gave me at the Hall of Fame in 2024, and that's the one I use, and I love that, and I use that all the time. I really still like that one. Yeah, and the payoff pitch for PC, yep, they got a lot of things going on. That's why they pushed it back until next week. And now they have the demo out. Oh my, I had to shut off my Discord because it was going off 1,000 times a day. Everybody's playing the demo. Everybody's got something to say, and everybody's, helping them out. And the poor guy is getting nailed with stuff, and whether it's bugs or whether it's things that are going wrong, um, and he's plugging away, fixing them. That's what he wanted. He wanted the feedback, so we got the feedback. He's got a ton of feedback now, though. But I guess that's what you got to do because the people that were testing it can only do so much, and now you got hundreds of people playing it, and they're all playing it their way, and so you're going to find certain things. Like when I was doing it, um, I when I test a game, I only test what I'm going to use because that's what I'm concerned about. And I know the idea of the testers, you want to break the game and find things wrong with it. So there's enough people doing that. So I said, I'm going to play it as I would play it. And if I find things wrong with it, that's what I'm going to show. And then when it comes to how it looks and things that happen, I would add my feedback. And there's a few things in there he put in there because of me, and I'm pretty proud that they're in there. And but I didn't get deep into all the fantasy stuff and all that because that's just not what I do. So I would never use that. So I wouldn't know how to use that. So I just went in and played the game. I did my bunts. Had a lot of issues with that. There was a few other things that they had to fix. So he was fixing some of that stuff there. So that's what I do is I just go in and play it as I played it. Now when Ron and I did the hockey game, the Stone Cold PC hockey, Ron really went the bug route. He took a lot of time and he found all the bugs in the game. I was working with them on the stats layout and the schedule layout and all that stuff there. So a lot in the box score and stuff like that. A lot of that was me working with Richard Hanna. And just like, don't like this. This has to be this way. This has to be this way. If you want to make a hockey, it's got to look like this. And so I was really happy with the final outcome. But yeah, we were, and I was like, you have to do this. You can't leave it like this. You have to do this. You have to make it look like this because every hockey site does it this way, and people want to see that. And he did. He put it all, make it look really nice. And so Ron was doing the bugs. I was working on the visual part of it and the stats. And when we were done, I think it's awesome. I think it come out really, really nice, Oh yeah, that's what they needed. They needed all that feedback. Yep. And it's all stuff that I wasn't going to get to and not everybody else going to get to. I don't know if you saw the latest thing with that, with the game pulse for Pocket Pennant Run. Not Pocket Pennant, wow, I'm getting tired now. Payoff pitch is the ability to import actual games. So you go into the schedule, you play your game, whatever game you want to play. If you don't want to play the game, you can sim it if it has the season, right? If you have that season in Game Pulse, you can sim it. Or you can import the actual game. I've never seen that before. I just... That is unbelievable. So if you want to, like say, if I want to play my Red Sox or my, Cleveland Spiders, obviously not the Spiders, but it will import games. So you can go to that day and you can just import all the games that actually played, and you can play along with that season and get the actual stats from the other games that happened. That is pretty remarkable. That's something I wouldn't even think about. But Dana's all over that. Dana's doing a fantastic job. That's probably my favorite new feature. Forget the AI manager. I don't think I'll ever use it. And I know some people will, so good for them. But the idea that I can look at the schedule and I can play a game or two and then just say, okay, import these actual games. So whatever happened in those games is going to happen here. I think that's pretty darn cool. John's saying, I'm replaying the 2025 NFL with Drive Time Football and the 206 NBA Championship with Baseline Basketball. Very nice. Yeah, I'm loving my little fictional Baseline Basketball League. I really am. I'm enjoying that. That's been fun. Okay, 2026. Yeah, I kind of know what you meant. 2026. Yeah, John. That's the great thing about John and his games. He gets those new seasons out. Bing, bing, bing. He really does. And then when is the new co-op project? If he doesn't have that season, he'll get it for you. So that's it's really great that he's working with a community like that. It's really great to have a guy like John, making games out there. It really is. And I know again, I'm partial to his basketball game. I do. I love that thing. I really do. I'll play that a lot. Now he just needs to come up with a golf game. Everyone's coming up with a golf game, so now John needs to come up with a golf game. That should be fun. But I'm really happy though that we have two new games, two new golf games coming to the convention. We have the Matt McKeever golf game, shot by shot, and courses and clubs, shot by shot. I really like shot by shot, and I know Keith's going to have his golf game there too. The History Maker Golf, which is not shot by shot completely, although sometimes it is. Sometimes you get pretty close, but that is such an awesome game. It really is. And so they're going to have a tournament there with that. So we're going to have a lot of golf being represented at the convention. So that should be a really really good time. So any final thoughts from you guys here? Again, the topic of the night was actually Frankensteining your game, and I kind of define that as grabbing some features, rules, rare play charts from another game and bringing it into a different game. So it's not really a homebrew; it's more of a Frankenstein, if you follow me. And sometimes it works because sometimes it's kind of a generic thing that works. Like I like a rare play in football. So again, if I were to use the second season rare play charts in APA, okay, or vice versa, it might work because you're not really asking for qualities of people. You're saying this is what happened on the play. Season tickets sometimes, though, I think you are checking. So if you were to use the season ticket baseball replays in a different game, you'd have to make sure you could have ratings. I know that on my run, say inside the park home run, I was challenging I think the outfielder's arm with my speed, and that's how I got the inside the park home run. So you'd have to make sure that if you got that rare result, that the game you were playing could actually do that. So it's not all seamless, but some of the stuff is seamless. I got to get back to working on my hockey rare play for Apple Hockey. Again, I got a lot of it done. I haven't play tested it too much. I did send it out to people. I didn't get much feedback on it, so I don't know if it was good or bad. But I still use my own rare play chart. I think it's a little bit too heavy on the offense part of it, but I wanted, in creating that rare play chart, I wanted to have how did Clay put it? I think Clay said unusual plays and then rare plays, and there's a difference. Unusual plays are things that have a better chance of happening during a game, but you don't want too much of it. And a rare play is one of those things that happens once or twice a season, something like that. But I wanted to give an opportunity to someone who had like a 0 shot range to get a goal. So if he were to get the puck and I rolled a rare play and it said, this guy's shot goes in off a skate, or roll to see if it goes in off a skate, he has a chance of getting a rare goal, which I think should happen. And so that's what I was doing with my rare play chart for APA. I need to get back to it. I'm going to make a note on that. APA hockey rare play. I wasn't quite done with it. I wasn't quite done with the APA hockey rare play, so I need to get back to that. So we were talking Frankensteining games. We're talking about all the fun things that are going to happen at the convention in a few weeks. I need to probably next week call up the hotel, make sure everything's all set. I want to make sure my room's all set. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if my wife actually might come down on one of the days and see what's going on. She has no interest in this, but says, yeah, I should come down for a day. It's only a couple-hour ride. Just come on down, say hi, and can stay the night if you want, or head back if you want. Because she always like, yeah, you're coming downstairs. It's like, yeah, you have no idea how much fun this is. You want to play a game of Apple hockey with me? No. Anyway, if you guys know my friend Ray from Around the Layout, the Train podcast. His podcast got so big, okay, that somebody just paid to ship his ass to Australia. Raised in Australia right now, all expense paid by people that listen to his show. That's how big Ray's podcast got. So good for him. He's down under right now, and he's taking all kinds of pictures down there, doing his thing, doing his live show. But yeah, good for Ray. You know what I mean? He worked real hard on that show, and so he's down there in Australia right now, and somebody paid his flight, his hotel, taking care of him. He took a picture in front of McDonald's down there. Of course he did, because I would have too. But yeah, yep, that's kind of great. It's really kind of great, you know. Oh, someone else got a Michigan goal today? Yeah. Well, I guess you could put that into a rare play. You know what I mean? Just, you could say he scored a Michigan goal. I mean, a goal is a goal, but I like some of the things that can happen in a hockey game. Like, I think one of my rare plays is a broken stick. Opposing team has a broken stick, so play as a power play until they either gain control or the next whistle or something like that. So that was one of the rare plays I did, because that happens in a game. A guy's got a broken stick, and so it's like a semi-power play. So you should have some kind of an advantage just for the next minute or something like that. So I like to put in things like that, because it's really hard to do a hockey game and get everything in there. And JAA comes by so much better than J single A. I keep telling everybody that. JAA is so much better. An underwater train. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have those pretty soon. Don't they have those in Europe, like that go between like Sweden and Norway or something like that? You take the train underwater. It's like, I don't know about that, man. I did see that Sylvester Stallone movie. What was that? That movie in New York when the tunnel flooded? Oh man, was it like Washout or something like that? And he was trying to get people out. Yeah, I don't know about that. don't know. Don't think I'd be going under a water train. I don't even like to go through the Big Dig in Boston, because some of that's underwater. I don't like that. Ugh. Big Mike comes by. He's been playing some Strat on his channel. I've been watching some of that. He plays a lot of the seasons that I like, so that's why I like Mike's channel, because I can go and listen to some of my favorite teams. So it's always fun to do that. But anyway, well, we've gone a couple hours tonight. I think we had a fun time here. We talked about all kinds of things. Talked a little bit about the convention, all kinds of gaming stuff. I'm hoping to see you tomorrow with the Dave's birthday stream. I like to do that once a year, if I can slip away down here and play something. But I got to make sure that I don't make anybody angry if we have breakfast plans or something like that. But I'm going to try to get down here and do something tomorrow. The Maka doesn't sound like a bad idea. Ken Maka on the channel again. Some hockey bones. I was thinking about playing the last Bruins Seals game ever, which was in 1976, I believe. I was looking at the stats today, so I thought about that. So I thought about maybe playing that last game here if I have that season in Hockey Bones. I don't know if I do. I got to get some more Hockey Bones seasons. They've come out with a couple that I haven't picked up yet. Daylight, yeah. I couldn't think of the name of it, but yeah, no, that's that was a scary movie. So scary for me. Getting trapped in a tunnel filling up with water is pretty scary, as far as I'm concerned. So, but anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming by. I need to get with Mike. We need to get the raffle stuff. I get raffle stuff everywhere. So many people are donating stuff to the raffle, and we've reached out to people. So I need to kind of focus now. The busy season's over. I need to focus on the convention. Let's get the raffle going. Check with the hotel, make sure everything's okay. I still think I'm going to get one of those big amplifier mic things. I think that's what it's going to be. Because I know some people are going to want to talk, and I thought about, I don't know what you think about this, is if I get one of those speakers that have a mic, then that way there, maybe we can give a spotlight. We can have like a 10, 15-minute spotlight for people that want to show the games off, and instead of having to scream and yell, if they had a mic, it might just give them a little bit more volume, so if people are gathered around the table, you know what I mean? And we'll just make it so it's not so loud that it's disrupting everybody else, but maybe just give them a little bit of a boost. when they talk. So, and we're gonna want to announce different things. You know, we're gonna have to announce when we're getting lunch because that's very important. And when John Heckle's gonna go buy us all coffees, right? Because he got the hole in one, so he's buying me a coffee one way or another. John's gonna buy me a coffee for that hole in one. But anyway, good times here tonight. Games back on the channel. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the convention. Really, really fun time to be gaming right now. So I want to thank everybody for coming by. Hopefully you'll see you tomorrow if I get the birthday bash going. As we'll play some fun things tomorrow. But anyway, I'm Dave from Studio B. Have a good night, everyone.